Hi, and welcome everyone. This is Barley at Lavender Sky Panther with you on Wednesday, December 25th, 2024. And I just want to say right off, happy holiday season's greetings. Whatever you're celebrating, it is Christmas Day today, so Merry Christmas to those of you who celebrate. Happy winter, happy summer, depending on where you are in the world. And just a very happy right now, coming at you with sunshine vibes and big family hugs. I was guided to give some messages today. It doesn't happen always, but, and actually I haven't done it for a bit, but I'm back with one that came through loud and clear today. Now, even though I am going to provide a group 1, 2, or 3 to select from if you wish, really on this one, it's like all of it is meant for the collective. So in other words, I just recommend you listen to all of it and not necessarily listen to a group. This one's going to be a little bit of a different reading because I am going to come in and just give you kind of a one sentence, a one-liner message on what group 1, 2, and 3 are. And then I'll, come back around and go into more detail on each group. We also have some cards in the back behind the candle, which are for the collective, additionally. So it's kind of like a collective on top of a collective message. Or, as I mentioned, go ahead and go with a group 1, 2, or 3. Really like snapshot style. We've got group 1 is symbolized and represented by this cute little kind of apothecary invoking little pot, little vessel there. It's sitting next to the candle. So we've got healthy kind of natural nature healing vibes with it. That's group 1. Group 2 is this collection of crystals kind of touching on the different chakras. And a beautiful card which shows healing, through the hands. Beautiful divine magical healing coming through. And then we have group 3, which is the quote-unquote rose-colored glasses, yes, heart-shaped, and we've got the romance feel behind it with that card. So actually what came through with this reading when I thought of, just kind of intuited which decks to include in this, it turns out that it's a strong angels theme, and then the plants, the healing plants. So we have the romance angels, the angel therapy deck, and then behind in the overall messages in the purple trim there and gold trim is the daily guidance with the angels. Then we have also the earth angels sitting in front of that. So it's kind of funny how it all, kind of came together and flowed. So we got nice loving energy coming from on high, if you will, and from the earth. So it's beautiful right away. Okay, so the one-liner for each group. Well, first of all, go ahead and pick your group. So if you like to do it that way, by the the nature, the chakras, and the crystals, and then the rose-colored glasses and the romance, and see where that comes. Okay. So the little short one-liner for this first group is: we have the power within us to heal ourselves. Our body is designed that way. So God just kind of has like an automatic system in place, and that's our beautiful immune system. And the very nature of how each cell is a divine kind of sentient being in and of itself and knows what to do. Because if you want to look at it this way, the divine, however you want to imagine that, I'll just say God for now, has designed our systems to be able to heal and take care of ourselves if we listen to our bodies and our spirit and let it do its job for us. And I'm talking, even I know recently some people may have kind of unconsciously, subconsciously, or maybe consciously received certain treatments over the last few years, I'll just say, and you might be worried about, oh, did that compromise me, quote unquote. I'm here to tell you, get that out of your mind, out of your heart, out of your consciousness. See only healing, be only healing. And I'm going to get into this more in group, separated out group 1. For right now, I just want to say the simple one-liner is: remember and know your body, yourself, your mind, body, spirit, your soul knows what it's doing. Trust that whole system. Trust down to the cellular level. You have the power to heal yourself, or in prayer and meditation, connect in if you don't feel you can bring it, and ask for that help to align with you to help heal yourself. And I'm just talking about the day-to-day ailments. If there are bigger challenges, of course, you can, you may know part of healing yourself is your body telling you, hey, we tried, but you need extra medical attention somewhere. So, always listen to your body on that. It's going to know, hey, that's, outside of our depth and range, And then, yes, of course, seek other assistance, even right away if that's what your body's saying. I'm just talking about some of the more minor things, or even, maybe a little bit bigger, but it just depends on where you're at and what your level of belief and confidence is of trusting yourself, okay? And a higher power, which is all connected anyway. All right, then we get to this group. We'll call it group 2. And this is a reminder with the crystals, and again, the healing coming through the hands, that not only do we have, again, that power to heal ourselves or go seek either a natural healer or, again, extra traditional medical assistance if you're in the Western world, if needed. I'm sorry about my finger there. But in this one, there was one word that came up, and it was believe. So where the first group would be like heal and, healing and nurturing, this one is believe. And if you look up the etymology or the origin of believe, there's strong ties to other languages like Germanic and Dutch, which change out the V, like Victor, in believe if you're looking at it in English, and substitute that with a B, like boy or baby, and that becomes beliebe, which liebe is something dear or love. So if you really want to look at the word believe, you would just say, if someone says, do you believe? Well, it's kind of like saying, do you be love? Are you being love? So that's maybe an interesting way of hearing it and looking at it. So that strong word came out for group 2 and that sentiment. Now, group 3, which obviously is love-oriented, this is how are you seeing things in this world? Are you seeing through the eyes of love? Can you look at every person, say there's somebody really angry and agitated that day and they lash out at you? Can you see past that rough exterior that looks like something totally different and see deeper into and feel it out, kind of the heart of the person? Are they wounded? Are they feeling emotional wounds, and that's why they're lashing out, right? It's said that like the people who are shouting the loudest and the angriest, those are the ones that need the hug the most, so to speak, right? I mean, there are cases, yes, to go physically hug somebody if they're in the moment of being raging, but there's also times to let them rage, get out of the way, get to safety, and then just wish them, like pray for them, telepathically send them love and toward healing them, right? So anyway, those are the 3. I gave a little bit more in each one, but that's a little snippet, a little glance, at a glance, what each group is heading toward. So whether you chose one already or you're just choosing it now, we'll get to that in a second. So I think before we go through each one, you know what? No, we'll go through each one with the cards, and then I'll go to the general messages as well. So if you chose the healing, or if you're here for all of them, again, I talked about the vessel. I talked about we have a lot of power within us, self-contained and complete. I was guided to keep the cork on the jar and not have it open. So just as a reminder, we came equipped with everything to help heal, self-heal, before we even look to other means. Now, if we do look to other means, then look to the divine light to bring in and call in that divine healing. Just kind of meditate in and say, God, angels, whoever, guardian angelics, ancestors, whoever, kindly come through and help me heal if you need a little extra power. And then, like I mentioned before, on top of it, your body's going to know, like again, down to the cellular level, it has divine code and instructions in it to help heal us. If that doesn't kick in and we just feel something is really off, then by all means you go seek other medical attention, from the more physical world. But it can't hurt to just start with within and connect within and say, keep a strong mind, heart, and spirit, and say, we are healed. I am healed. And, or, nope, not going to let sickness in. We've got this. I'm healed. It's not even going to come in the door, so to speak. Or, okay, I got something, but as soon as it came, it's going to go. Or just close your eyes if you're laying down and just really connect in and visualize a divine white healing or other golden or whatever color light that works for you coming and moving through your body. I even imagine hands that are like glowing like divine hands of pure magic white healing light that come through and sweep away any, like if you have anything in the lungs, imagine those divine hands coming through and parting the seas, if you will, removing and absorbing and disintegrating with the beautiful loving light anything that's like black and sticky and yucky looking. Can do that through the face, through the sinuses. Do that technique. I've done that and it can really work. Again, it's not every single time, because sometimes our body is reacting that way to secrete, excrete, and otherwise get rid of toxins out of the body. And sometimes that is the purpose of some sicknesses. So keep that in mind as well. But just pray, meditate, connect in, or just know with a capital K that we can trust our bodies. They know what they're doing to help us out toward healing. Now, on that note, we'll go ahead and look at the 2 cards behind, because I didn't want to make this too long of a message today. But here, we'll look at this gorgeous card. This is it's called the 50 Plants That Heal deck, and I'll put the names and other information on the decks that I'm using in the description area below. But any guesses as to what we're going to head into with this one? This is showing beautiful various stages of growth of this fruit, beautiful leaves of what it looks like. Anyway, so we'll get to it. Make your little guess. And this happens to be bilberry. Oops, I hope it'll focus. So bilberry, I think, is just kind of a variation of blueberry. I know it's called bilberry in the UK, in England. I'm not sure if that is just the same thing as blueberry or if it's a slightly different fruit, but let's just see if it tells us. Let's see. It's a shrub growing in the woodland, and let's see what else. I'm only going to read what hops out at me. I'm not going to read the whole card. It goes into description of what everything looks like, the characteristics of the leaves, etc. It says that historically it's been used for dysentery, hemorrhoids, and let's see, later on used for stomatitis, mouth ulcers, and infant thrush. Let's see. Oh, okay, I guess it is still used for enteritis. The one thing I remember about bilberry, though, is when back in the day I was doing a lot of research on different kind of natural plants and things. Not real intensive, but just kind of a cursory look. I remember that bilberry was supposedly used to increase or greatly enhance night vision. So maybe it's good for the vision. So maybe look into that if that is something that interests you. All right, they say that dried fruits of it can be used as antiseptic and astringents and laxatives. Can be used as an antibacterial. Let's see, to help with if you have some diarrhea or digestive problems. Can also help, we talked about that before, if anything like in the mouth. And let's see, right, and it also says it can help with treating visual issues like glaucoma and vision in low light. As I was mentioning, it was supposed to help with night vision. I think the context of that was with helping night vision for some pilots back in like World War II era. Okay, there are internal uses and external uses, and I invite you to look into all of that a little more closely on your own time if you find any of that interesting, if any of that inspires you. Now, I just want to say, stepping back, these are just things that can potentially work. Every body is different, and it depends on whether or not this harmonizes with your body or not. So always let your body and its intelligence with a capital I be your guide, whether that's for you or not. Okay, now we'll look at this one. And I'm not familiar with this one. I did look on the back before I turned the camera on because I'm like, what is this? All right, so this, I just looked at what it is. I didn't read further. Hogweed. Now, I've heard of hogweed, but I have no idea what it can do toward healing. So let's find out together. Okay, it says it can grow on roadsides and in meadows. Let's see what else. Again, I'm just reading whatever jumps out at me on this one. Okay, it does give off an aromatic scent if you crush it, the plant. Okay, and the roots and leaves, it says, are tonic and digestive. They have calmative properties that I guess can be used for epileptic seizures. And let's see, they say it can be an aphrodisiac and also can cure boils, abscesses, and acne. And that's if you apply it topically, apparently. And again, that's just if you don't have any allergies or things to it, if your body agrees with it. They say, and according to this card, and again, do your own research on these things, With homeopathy, it can help treating headaches, ovarian pain, and contact dermatitis. There are other internal and external uses for this as well. So again, I invite you to look around further on your own. And actually, I'm going to look back because I'm not familiar with this plant. Just again, what the leaves look like. They call it like an umbrella-like appearance. Broad leaves. Interesting flower there. And the root system. So this is a good reminder to bring up too. All plants, pretty much, and trees that I know of, usually every part of it can be used toward healing. Some are toxic and not for human bodies. But, we're talking so many parts of a plant, whether it's the roots or the bark or resin coming from the bark, the leaves, the flowers, the fruits, the seeds. Think about it. Plants, trees, there's so much to the natural world that offers healing, especially with roots. I'm guided to bring up. Lately, I've tried a new licorice tea that's really great for soothing the throat and working on calming an uneasy stomach. And just that, like, natural herbal tea alone was enough to do that. Also, things like dandelion root, any of the root teas are helpful for, like, the stomach typically. But there's just so many ways to naturally heal. And, there's the naturopathic world is healing with more nature-based things. And there's also the allopathic world, which is more of like the Western world, pharmaceutical kind of world. And actually, if you take everything back, even with the pharmaceuticals, they're based loosely, at least if not directly, on a plant before they take it and degrade it and do whatever they're going to do. So just keep in mind that we came here to this world. When we first come here, we come with nothing, so to speak, but we have everything provided by nature. So even animals like goats or dogs, they know if they have an ailing stomach, to go out in nature and root around and pick out the herb that will solve the problem, so to speak. In humans, things like, I think, peppermint or spearmint help soothe the stomach. That might not be good for animals. Again, the animal bodies and human bodies are slightly different. But I forget for what element, but I've heard of people who put specifically pet herbal gardens in their yard and say whatever ailment an animal's having, they might go straight for the dill and start chewing on it, or fennel, I think, or I know one dog personally who I planted a lot of lemongrass around a property I had once. And this dog, every time when friends would come to visit with him, would run directly for the lemongrass plant and start chewing on the lemongrass leaf. Now, I don't know how that comforted or made the dog feel good, but it went straight for the lemongrass every single time. So whether it was ailing or not. So I thought that was very interesting. So that just illustrates and reminds us of the power of plants to assist us, and they're put on this planet to help assist us heal and provide us with everything we need, so to speak. And of course, if there are other more wounds or kind of triage traumatic type situations, you've got to get medical assistance. Of course, do that. There's things that do require an emergency room, for example. But this is just talking about the day-to-day. If we have certain ailments, there's a lot we can do before we even consider doing some of those things. All right, now let's go to group 2. If you chose it by group, we've got this beautiful collection of crystals. I'll just name them off quickly before getting to the card. We have Bumblebee jasper in a tumbled heart configuration in the middle. We've got a green calcite, Amethyst Sodalite, druzy from Morocco, this pure, beautiful quartz, crystal quartz druzy. And then we have carnelian in the back. I thought it was a form of orange calcite also, but I'm pretty sure it's just straight up carnelian. Okay, now I picked these because we've got actually solar plexus represented, and also kind of heart chakra by the shape of the heart. Really happy factor in this Bumblebee jasper. Going down to the root chakra, we've got red and orange, so that's kind of my representation for both in that one crystal. Then we move up to the heart. Okay, so we have the shape of the heart plus green. And there's pink also, but I didn't really have a pink crystal I wanted to put here, so we're just going with the shape of the heart to represent that. Then we have the throat chakra with the blue, a little bit of blue in that sodalite, assisting with the throat chakra. And then we have amethyst representing the crown, and higher up pure white, for going up beyond the crown chakra. Okay, So now I love the image on this card. We've got like the healing power coming out of the hands, whether that's our human hands with the divine current and light, healing light moving through it, and the God power connected in with our actual heart, which emits healing. It sends out electromagnetic waves that help heal. That's why wherever we are, God is. That is that power of love within that heart space, and emanates out and can help uplift and heal people just by our walking through a room. Even if you're down in the dumps in a particular day, God brings it. That God force flows through the heart and radiates out like the power coming out of these hands. You can also imagine this divine white magical healing light emanating straight out of our heart and filling up a whole room. That's why it's so important to know just by walking through a room, you can help heal people. Or by your smile, this power radiates out of the smile. Anyhow, also, what else? Through touch, we've got the fingers here. That's why when you hold somebody's hand, the power of that divine healing, that power of that love is coming out down through your arms, out through your fingertips, and touching somebody else is helping healing them by like holding a hand or touching a shoulder or giving a beautiful embrace. Your whole body is acting as that healing generator coming out through you. It's beautiful. That's why fear not. If you say, oh, I think I'm going to get a sickness from somebody if they're sick in the room, or, oh, I'm feeling sick, I'm going to give it to everyone. Well, okay, practical common sense. Maybe don't go kiss somebody if you know you've been coughing and stuff, but you can like avert your head and hold somebody and hug them. Any parent knows, especially if you've been a single parent, you don't have time to be sick. That's not a luxury you really have to have. So if you keep a strong mind, heart, spirit, body, and mind, get good rest, you just say, no, nothing is going to enter this body temple in form of sickness. I need to take care of my little one or whatever. In the past, doctors and nurses, they can't have a mindset of, oh, I'm going to get sick or I'm going to give it to somebody. They would never have been able to heal anybody. I know directly healers in the medical world, they never got sick once, and they were exposed to some of the worst things. It's like that old thing, whether you believe in this particular text or not. And in this case, for me, I've made it clear. I know just even through the basic function of having literary texts over time, they're going to get altered, and especially if somebody or some group wants to have a controlling agenda. For me, the Bible is maybe 5% truth in there, because it's only the things that talk about pure love. Everything else that has anything disparaging or is kind of manipulated to present things in a certain way, I feel that, and I feel the inauthenticity of it. And I can really resonate and feel with the parts that are true, which are having to do with pure love and loving intentions. And anyway, but taking it back to even the Bible, my example there is of the loving parts that are true regarding the Jesus figure of Jesus is that, what did Jesus do, at least according to the Bible? Could walk through a room, so to speak, of lepers with leprosy. And Jesus didn't say, oh my gosh, I'm going to get that or whatever. No, he just walked through, strode through, and just beamed out this light, the essence of who he was and was connected with, and healed people. He didn't go, oh, I better not go in that room. Nope, I might get it. I might catch it. I'm not going to go near those people. Good luck to them. No, he knew that I can walk through. Nothing's going to touch me. Nothing's going to touch the temple, because I am here to heal and therefore will not be ill. Keep that in mind. All right, now let's go and flip this card and see what the message is, because this is from the Angel Therapy deck and has a lot of varied messages. And this one we happen to get base chakra. We have this angel, kind of earth angel tide theme, kind of working the earth, and actually maybe a little bit of the blue color, so we tie in a little bit of maybe the bilberry. I'm talking about the first group if you looked at group 1. All right, so we've got this, and it says, choose only positive thoughts to describe your home, career, finances, as your words determine your outcome. And I would also throw in there too positive thoughts to also describe your health. And so rule number 1, anything follows the words I am is a very powerful thing and amplifies that. So instead of saying, oh, I am sick. No. Say, I am feeling sick if you really feel you need to express that. Otherwise, replace those words with, I am strong. I am healthy. I am, loving. and etc. I am nourished. I am completely recovered. I am happy and laughing. All of that instead of, the opposite of what I just mentioned. Words do have meaning. Words are powerful. So really keep it, be conscious of what you are saying through your mouth and also what you're intending even before you speak that spoken word. Okay, so I think that part's very clear. So here base, is what it says. It implies what we think of the words home base. Its base is something rooted and grounded, right? It has a good foundation in the earth. So earthing comes to mind. We don't see her, but maybe she's not wearing shoes to better connect in and receive the healing energy of the earth and that power. Again, going back to the first group, you might want to go look there if you've just selected by individual groups for some messages there. Okay. All right. I think I'm going to move on, I guess, but before I do, let me just look at the crystals, see if anything else wants to come through. Amethyst was a prominent crystal coming through for me today. Because anytime I thought of individuals today, as it is a nice holiday, and you think of loved ones, friends, family, perhaps just humanity in general was coming through to me, all the human beings of the earth. I just had an overwhelming wave come over me just to really put my hands up in the air and be thankful for all of us here on this earth, and to heal everyone if anyone needs the healing, and love everyone in the sense of divine love. Just a powerful energy surge came through me, shooting out through the heart space, out into the world with this energy that you feel off of like a loving candle. Perhaps you want to do that too. Throw your hands up in the air and imagine sending out a powerful, loving, healing light coming out of the heart space or the hands as you throw them up in the air. And just imagine them, let's reorient this, shooting up out over the entire earth and out into the cosmos with one singular, beautiful message of love and pure, divine, magical, healing light of love coming from the heart for everyone, everywhere. If we could all do that just even for a moment today, this entire world would be uplifted and everything would be healed. It would shift in an instant, so keep that in mind. Okay. In the meantime, I send all of that out to anyone listening to this and to my voice right here, right now. And remember that also our words have meaning and power, and also our very voices carry a frequency. And you know the difference if you kind of shout at someone harshly, that carries a certain vibration and energy. And versus if you talk to somebody with love, but in that caring and healing into your voice. Very different, right? So be conscious of that as well as you go through your day. All right, now we're going to go to group 3. This was the seeing the world. How are you seeing the world? Can you see it through the eyes of love? Can you look at somebody shouting at you, perhaps even just a stranger who maybe cut you off in traffic and is the one yelling somehow? Or maybe you're the one yelling, let it out and then just redirect into trying to see things through the eyes of love. Can you see to the core wound of that person? Why is anybody shouting, angry, or unstable, or not at peace? There's an imbalance. There's maybe a wound going on there. Can you see deep down into that inner child who is wounded and hurting and try to take away what you're seeing with some maybe older, angry, shouting person at you? Get to the core, send that person love, maybe in the midst of them shouting. This is an extreme example. Maybe get still and calm as they're doing that. And from your heart space, kind of do like group 2. That's why I said I had a feeling all 3 groups are related, and they really are. Can you imagine that healing, divine, magical healing light coming out of your heart, bathing them in that divine light in the midst of them maybe shouting? Send that love out, and maybe that diffuses them right away. And if not, hold your boundaries. You're not a doormat. You're not there to be put in harm's way. You'll know if you just need to exit the situation physically, remove yourself not to get harmed, whether you want to send the love in that moment or get away, get to safety, and send them that love after the fact. So much can be healed, even if you just think of somebody with loving thoughts, healing thoughts. That can do a lot remotely. You don't have to be in the actual physical presence of somebody. All right? So this is just a little reminder. When you can, see things through the eyes of love, first and foremost. And just sometimes it takes a conscious effort to do that. So that's a big message today. All right, so let's see what the card itself says, though, coming from the Romance Angels deck. And we get Honeymoon. So we have the moon, a moonlit night, beautiful moonlit night in Venice, on the canals of Venice. We have a huge angel, looks like a loving guardian protector angel energy, powering the gondola. Okay, we have like a church in the background, the dome of the church. Things seem pretty peaceful. We have water, symbolizing the emotions. We have the moon, which kind of represents things hidden. We have the word honeymoon, which we could also look at as like a sweet moon, or like a honey-coated voice, which is a loving voice, healing voice. Again, honey, very powerful healer, can be an antiseptic. Especially Manuka honey, supposed to be very, very powerfully healing. Just ties that back into the healing of group 2 and of group 1. So once again, I think everyone should actually probably be looking at all 3 groups today because they're all connected. Anyhow, we also have sweet words, right? We talked about words in group 2. But anyway, when I see the words honeymoon, obviously the meaning of it in English is where you go when you have your romantic partner or love, or have just gotten married. You go somewhere, you get away, you go on a beautiful vacation, ideally the most beautiful place you can think of that means something to both of you, ideally, and that it's a beautiful place filled with loving vibes and loving energies. But then we have the word moon, and the moon, if it represents things kind of hidden or can be somewhat of secretive energy, can be. It depends also, too, right, on the phase of that moon, if it's full or new. But regardless, it's kind of talking about like a sweet with maybe something hidden, and that part to me represents it's a little getaway. What happens on the honeymoon is kind of kept between the two people. You usually don't go advertising all of the sweet and more intimate moments that happen. So that's one level of it. And that might be a literal message for somebody if you want to go on a honeymoon. Sometimes people don't have maybe the resources necessarily to go travel anywhere and do something. So a honeymoon could also be something that's just at home. If it's one of those staycations, as they say, find a place and make some memorable memories, even just around wherever you live if you can't do it. Or just know that you'll do it at another time and keep that time, special and sacred. But anyway, that's if you're in a paired relationship. It says, enjoy the bliss of holiday time together. That's pretty straightforward. So that's also wherever you are. You don't have to travel off to somewhere exotic. Heck, maybe you do live in Venice. And so this isn't representing something exotic. It's representing celebrating that bliss wherever you are, because wherever you are, God is and love is in that heart space. Wherever you take yourself, whether it's out to a store to get some provisions, or out into a forest, or wherever that is, wherever you are, that is, and that bliss is. Now, if you are more solitary, so to speak, you're not partnered up, that's that extra message. Enjoy that time with you, yourself, and you, and your higher self. Be happy and love the skin you're in, type of thing. Love yourself fully. Take the time to maybe do a nice something for yourself that you don't normally do. Maybe do a nice foot soak with throw in some flower petals. Take a nice bath. Get some essential oils. Get a nice candle burning. That's a clean, like soy burning candle with pure, nice, natural essential oils in it. Get a sprig of lavender, and carry it around with you in the day, or put it in your pocket. Just do any little nice thing for yourself. And that's just between you and yourself. You don't have to advertise what you're doing to help soothe and give yourself some nice extra little touches. Okay, now the heart shape on this too is kind of jumping out at me for whatever reason. We see it in emojis and it's all over the place, this shape. Some people resonate more with the shape of the actual kind of more human heart, depending on, how you're looking at it. Also, I think here's a little challenge in a good way. Maybe get a pen or pencil, even if you're not prone to or inclined to draw or use artistry. Let's just try it out in stick figure style. just let yourself doodle and scribble on a page and think of the word love or think of the word loving heart and see what shapes come out. I'm not totally convinced this is the shape of a heart or of love, but we use it all the time, all day, every day, right? Even to the level of the emojis on the phone. I do it too. It's just that symbol. And it's actually in group 2. It was the Bumblebee jasper. Maybe look that up too, healing properties of Bumblebee jasper if you're guided. But anyway, it's just the universal shape like we all, kind of accept, right? Or have accepted over time. But I still am not convinced where the origin of it comes from. But I would say too that if you go out in nature, going back up to group 1, look at all of the plants that have either a heart-shaped fruit or flower or leaf. That might be a nice exercise. The bleeding heart vine comes to mind. I think the petals on that do look like this or similar. Anyway, that's all I'm getting for that for right now. So let's move on to the collective message. I had pulled some cards just kind of for the overall. And let's get into those. All right, let me start with, give me a moment. Let's start with the daily guidance. What is it called? I got to look it up again. I'll put it in the description box below. I think it's something like the daily guidance from the Angels deck. And I have 2 cards here. And I'm just going to go with whatever one came up first. Sorry, bear with me. It's this one. So we have a little cherub or little angel child and a stork. And they're looking at a map, presumably, to see which way to go. Maybe that's something for you. Maybe you're not sure which way to go or where to physically go on this earth. Maybe you have an opportunity to physically move somewhere, and you're kind of pondering it. So we have the child, which is the innocence, and maybe kind of naivete connotation. But also in the spiritual world, it's the children who come in who are most connected with Source, typically, before we get, kind of the earthly programming put over us. And look at it is the child who is pointing, and seems to have that inner knowing and confidence and curiosity and wonder of the way to go. And the one with the glasses, the stork, presumably the older and quote-unquote wiser one, maybe by earthly years, is pointing in the complete opposite direction with this little feather there. So it's actually really depicting going with the heart knowledge, with the little cherub child, and that inner knowing just knows to follow the heart with full confidence, not even second doubting. And we have the one that represents kind of the earth or book knowledge, pointing to go the other way. Maybe, again, the glass is kind of representing the intellect. They always have somebody who is learned, has, glasses on supposedly. But the child doesn't have the glasses, is going by inner sight. And in that inner knowledge doesn't need book knowledge. So anyway, we got intuition pointing off to the left versus the head, and book knowledge going to the right, so to speak, on this card. Now, I know which way I would go based on this card. It's follow the child. The child's even got pink to, reemphasize, go with the heart space. And then we've got the black and white imagery as well. We've got the white feathers of the child's wings pointing to go one way. And even though the stork has white, the actual fingers pointing, so to speak, are black feathers. So again, there are ways, actually, sometimes we need a little bit of both combined to come up with the answer. And in this case, though, I'm getting an overwhelming thing of go with your heart. Don't go what appears with the physical eyes to be the right answer. Go with the inner sight, the inner eyes, and the heart space for that answer. Also, the child is floating, whereas the stork is standing in cloud with the baby at its feet. And the baby in general could represent kind of the Fool energy of the tarot card. The baby, I didn't even see this, is pointing in yet another direction. And the baby being even closer to Source, as I said. So what is the answer? Well, you can go with maybe the baby being closest to Source. Also has a little pink in there with the heart space. And a little bit of purple, like going up more toward the divine crown chakra, as is the white. Or you can take maybe a combination of the 3. We've got the strong trinity, divine connection. Maybe it's a little bit of both. And maybe, just maybe, this card represents our journey here on earth, that we come from the divine spark of life itself. We learn a little bit more, and have a little bit more of an earth angel, earthly blend, and maybe straight up more of the earth thing. But from the beginning to the quote unquote end, as we get older, we return back to the source. And it really is the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit all connected. We are various forms and phases, and that God spark within us is within each of us on this earth. And you can go back to there's just one of us in the room, a quote I heard by Neil Donald Walsh once in a lecture. He was connected in the author, words came through him in the book, Conversations with God. That might be a little book that you might want to look into. But it said there's just one of us in the room. There is one source, and we are just kind of like sparks off that sparkler, so to speak. So it also shows that even though they're each pointing in a different direction, we can't get it wrong. Maybe you follow the baby. You have a certain sort of set of experiences. You follow the other little more older child. You go off and you go into another set of experience. Or you go through the eyes of this supposedly older figure. You're going to have a whole nother set of experience. And it is all of those experiences that make us who we are, and make us have our journeys and adventures, and makes each of our stories individual and as they're supposed to be. Each of us has our own journey. No one can write it or prescribe it for us. All right, then there's that space in between all of it. No things are pointing between the baby's head and the map, and that's the space for the divine to come in and help guide us as well. Okay, that was a lot on this one card I didn't expect. The overall message here says, though, change in direction. The changes you're experiencing are divinely directed by your newborn willingness to open your heart to love and our guidance. You are protected now and in the future. So follow your path to the happy outcomes you desire. That really does encapsulate this perfectly. And I like the bottom that it's outcomes with an S. There's no one outcome. We have many. And also, if you get into different timelines and parallel selves, you've got parallel yous out there experiencing all kinds of things. Just illustrates, we can't get it wrong. Keep an open mind and heart. Changes do come. It's the nature of what we deal with here on this playground here of Earth. And just, go with a trusting, loving heart, open heart to the divine. And there's something greater guiding it all. Okay. Now let's go to the second overall message. And then we have actually a couple more coming up from the Earth Angel deck. So once again, we have the moon coming up. You might want to go see group 3 if you went by individual groups, because the honeymoon was in there. So we have this angel. Again, this is coming from the Daily Angel Guidance with wings. And we got little angels at the bottom, and it says, see only love. And actually, this is a very strong and singular message kind of coming down from group 3. So you definitely want to go see group 3. If you didn't pick it, because we've got the moon there in honey color she's in, group 3, and the message, so you might want to go there. Anyway, it says, look past the seeming errors, mistakes, and misunderstandings, and see only the love within each person, including yourself. Your resolute focus upon the love that underlies every situation brings about healing in undreamed of ways. And actually, I wish I had this card for group 3, because that summed it up probably better than I did. That's the whole essence of group 3. And when we talk about healing, and that's the whole essence of group 1. So I should have started with this card, but it's a nice summary. All right, now we have 2 more cards, as I said, and let me just see. I've got to change the position of my hand for a second with the camera. Give me 1 minute. I need to switch here, switch it up. All right, so now we're going to get to the Earth Angel deck for the final 2 messages of this reading. And here we go. Got a beautiful forest. That disc in the back could be representing a sun or a moon. We have a beautiful deer, but it also has that rabbit energy to me by the feet. And it says free spirit. And let's read the message. Doors will open for you now. With goals in sight, don't let anything hold you back. Fears and uncertainties will subside and give you simplicity, and you will move forward with confidence to reach every goal. Wishes will be granted. There's an affirmation. I move forward with confidence. And you know what? Can't underestimate the power of confidence. There are times when we have it in spades, tons of it overflowing, and there are times where we have none. And so when, I guess, if you're in a position of not feeling so confident, maybe start to do little things that make you feel good. Like, do you like to cook? Maybe stirring a pot. If you know you like to make a certain sauce and you know you do a great job at it, do what you feel good with. And don't worry if it's like a bigger picture thing, like, oh, wherever I'm going to do this job, I feel not very confident. Well, do little daily things around that you do and are confident in. Maybe you're great at doing yard work, or cutting grass, or doing gardening. Maybe you love to water things and you notice that they really grow extra nice when you do it lovingly. Instead of using a sprinkler system, go out and hand water with a hose and notice the difference, because you're connecting with the ground when you use a hose. The water, the stream of water, connecting with the earth, is connecting back to you, and you've got a beautiful stream and flow of the energy, loving energy, coming from your heart space down into the earth and right back at you. It's a beautiful thing. Maybe give that a try. I don't know. Are you good at playing certain, card games? I'm talking in the non-gambling sense, just basic ones that make you happy. Any number of things. Are you good at writing? Writing an email, even if you are writing and you love to use words, just do any little thing, or drawing, or just something, singing, that brings you that extra confidence. Maybe as you go into a shower or a bath, start singing, the power of that water amplifying everything. Build up your physical voice. Maybe that helps you move forward with confidence. Anyway, just a few ideas. Now, if you already are confident, then continue on, stride on. and then, like, literally more power to you, more loving power to you as you stride out into the world. Maybe if you've already got it, help bring that to others. Help uplift and build others with your words. Build them up with your words and other kindnesses that you can extend, and remind them of others who might not have it, of all the beautiful things that you see in them, that you see that confidence in them, and that will go a long way. All right, that's just one message. And one more overall message for the reading. We have again the presence of the moon, the starry sky. Stars are echoing and glistening in the trees with the moonlight reflecting off of them, also off of little frost or plants in the foreground. Beautiful. Look at this. Look at the representation in the bowl. Those plants is very reminiscent of Group 1. So you might want to go look at Group 1 if you didn't select it. Also, I like this little tray in the background somebody so lovingly gifted me. It almost has the feeling of like an antler, bent with the gold. And even though this is a rabbit in this one, there was a deer with antlers in the other one. And even the trees, look at the trees here, kind of remind me. This could be antler, or it could be bark of a tree, right? Or twigs. It's probably more like it. Anyway, we've got beautiful nature themes. We've got a crow, it looks like there, which is a representation of communication in the air, the caw, the crying out, and also an old lore, I think, with Celtic and others traditions, probably Nordic as well. The raven or crow was like a messenger and spoke and brought messages between, different entities and powers. We've got the candle, the candlestick. It's currently out, so there's no flame, but you can tell there often is, because of how the candle has burned down. I like the way when you look at the candle, the crow, a raven, however you want to interpret it, the rabbit, and the little fern in the bowl. It's like they're holding and anchoring space. There's a nice space in the middle there. It feels very protected and loved. So we'll get to the message of this card, but no matter what, look, even the crow is sitting on a pot, which is with the plant in it. It's all the symbolisms of grounding into the earth. The pot is terracotta, which is formed burnt with fire, on clay. So we've got fire imagery with earth and clay. The fire that would normally be in the candle is embodied and imbued in that pot. We've got nature, so we've got earth, fire, air with the communication, and water. Where do we have water? Well, I would say I don't see it readily here. It's implied in the pot that the pot is containing as a vessel to hold water. That energy is there. And I would say also with the moon, because if you look at the moon, you look at like the quote-unquote craters and things, and those darker patches of the moon seen on the moon are said to be attributed to some kind of basalt, and that were supposedly formerly water. So a lot of the names start with Mari, or Mar, it looks like Mare, but it's Mari, M-A-R, is ocean or sea, and when you look at the roots of that word. So I'm just kind of coming back full circle, like these elements of the candlestick, the candle, the raven, the bunny, and the plant. They're kind of forming a circle and holding, the void is holding a space. And I feel like you and I, as the observer, are being held in that space, protected and loved by the elementals, by the animal kingdom, and by God, and by the galaxis and the heavens. And so hopefully you feel that nurturing energy covering all points. This says room with a view. So let's see what the message is in addition to that. All right, room with a view. Times of introversion are beneficial. Take this time to regain your strength and power. Keep true to yourself. Keep to your true self, no matter the needs of others. Your calmness is a virtue to those around you. They see you as a pillar of strength. Affirmation: I feel strong in my solitude. And actually, that is a beautiful message and a perfect message. Introversion, the rabbit is diving down into the earth or into the self. And again, that space that those things are holding is that space within the self, and to ground and trust that space, which is the inner self. And yeah, I think that's enough said for now. Okay, well, I'll just end this on go light that candle. We didn't need it on here because you are the light. You are that light and that spark and that fire. You yourself are the fire and the light. I love it. And then we have the light here on the table to reemphasize that point. All right, well, wherever you are, if you need that inner solitude time like that card just mentioned, or you're celebrating with others, like this berries on the twig, there's a bunch of them, and like blueberries come in a bunch. There'll be times for both, times for solitude, times for gathering. And even though it's supposedly a quote-unquote day to gather with others, if you're celebrating Christmas, for example, but you feel like you just really need that solitude and to keep your peace, then that's going by the heart space, and that's the right path for you. If you feel like you want to be amongst others, then that's the right thing as well. And if you feel like you need a little bit of both, balance it out and do both. If you feel like you want to be with others, but don't see them technically in your world right now, they're physically not there, find other ways to connect. Whether, hey, if you need to connect on the internet, or just go out and about if you're in a populated, more cosmopolitan area, go to a store, just kind of be in the presence. Remember, you bring the light wherever you go, but also if you just can't bring it, might be good to go out in the presence of others who, without their knowing, will be bringing the light and shining it out to you. Also, there's the animal and the plant kingdom. None of that around are available to you. Always go out and walk in nature. Even if you don't see any quote-unquote animals to the physical eyes, there are always bugs and things in the earth. The earth itself is nurturing. There's the whole elemental kingdom, whether it's plants, leaves, bark, rocks, water, air. But there's also the things that you can't maybe see with the physical eyes that are very much there, like the other kinds of elementals of the spirit realm. Yes, there are fairies. There are tree people. There are little nature spirits and nymphs and water sprites. They are all around us. So even if you don't see them, you may feel their energy, and on a lovely, beautiful level, to your inner heart and your inner spirit, they're there. And that will also comfort you, or can, okay, if you let it. Just sit down on the earth, connect in the earth, Gaia, spirit, mother, Mother Nature, earth spirit is always there too, and can send up love if you connect in with the earth with the intention of sending love down into the earth, and love will send it right back up to you. All right, everyone, those are the messages for today. Again, happy holidays, season's greetings, and tremendous peace and love to you are coming your way right now, already there. Take care, everyone. Remember to laugh if you can. Love, send that universal love out to others. Be kind, and just know that you are loved as you send out love. Best wishes. Lavender Sky Panther. Bye.